Check that weld out. In the welding world, we call that stacking dimes. Oh, too far. Welcome back to the mining channel. If you're new here, I hope to earn your subscription. I can't use that. Dan heard, I think he has that copywritten. Let's just go, welcome back to the mining channel. If you're new here, welcome. All right, it's the second episode of the Trommel Build. We had some warm weather over the weekend and my yard turned into a skating rink. We need to get some gravel down so I can work safely and not slip around. Okay, let's get some gravel down so we can work. I think a handful of this will do. Okay, one project down. Let's go cut some steel up. I haven't had a chance to run to the scrapyard yet. That's gonna be tomorrow's project. But these uprights here, I hauled out a beam this morning. We're actually gonna cut the thing in half and use them to go from the bottom skid up. With the I-beam pulled out, I'll square off this end and we'll cut it straight down the center. Make ourselves a T-beam, I guess you can call it. With all the ice off the beam, let's cut this up. With the end squared off, we can measure out 59 1/4. With our angled template, just put it on the beam, mark it out. Now if we're doing these long cuts, I'll put the ruler down, put it 1/4 inch away from my actual mark, just due to the fact that the center of the plasma cutter is 1/4 inch away from the edge. Once I have that lined up, I just simply use a magnet and that holds it down in place. Make sure the other end is good. Now we can cut. After cutting this, you can see this actually expanded. That's due to a lot of heat along this edge, and what it does is actually cause the molecules to expand and move this I-beam outward. It's not because it's bent, it's just because of heat. Okay, we've got the paint ground off the bottom. Let's see if she fits. Perfect. Just got to grind the paint off here and we can get this thing welded on. Okay, the first one tacked in, let's head to the second one. That almost concludes the back structure for this thing, minus the one crossbeam that we have to do at the back. You can see what I had to do. I had to do some real funky cutting to get this T-beam in. While we're just finishing up back here, I'm gonna cut a couple pieces and cap these off. Okay, that one's installed now. Last episode, I actually forgot to mention one thing when I was cutting out the holes on top. What the plan is I'm gonna burst the hole into the bottom frame, and this is gonna be an integrated water system. As the water travels up, it'll supply water for the hopper. It'll also come down this way, up this pipe, and spray into the barrel. With the back part all done, I want to move on to the hopper. The one thing we need to do is I need about 6 inches of this barrel for the input to go from the hopper into the barrel. One problem that I have is this barrel is not square. If you take a look at it, you can see this edge is just cut completely crooked. I need to square this thing up and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, the back end also needs to be squared up, so we'll do this side. The other side is going to be a little bit tricky. It's easier to show you here. So what we do is lay our poster paper out. So once we have a rough estimate of how much we want to cut off the back, is simply snug both ends up, make sure it's completely tight all the way around the barrel. Line up this edge and that edge, and this edge will be perfectly square. This edge will be perfectly square too. We'll use a magnet to hold it into place while we trace this out. With a piece of paper off and our mark on the barrel, I just modified a ruler to bend around the barrel. We'll take some magnets, put it in place, and we'll use the plasma cutter to go along the edge. Now the end is all cut. You can see that's a nice clean cut with the plasma cutter. We'll head to the front and do the same. That's the piece that we need to hang right there, and we can start doing all of our geometry for the hopper. We'll be adding a 4-inch cap flange to the input of this barrel. We need a 1-inch space, so we need to figure out how big of a circle we need. With day 1 and episode 2 coming to an end, let's do a tally. I put in another 6 hours today and we're still at $1,500. So that puts us at 32 hours and $1,500. I didn't get much done today because I spent half the day doing the driveway, but tomorrow we'll make some good progress. All right, day 3, episode 2. Yes, that's right, day 3. I totally forgot to record anything yesterday. I was just in work mode. Let's go over there, I'll show you what we did. So I got the bulk of the hopper built yesterday. It's just tacked in. Plan for today is to sit there and weld all day, so it's not gonna be anything too exciting. You can see that one piece that we cut off from the barrel. I actually shrunk that down with the excavator, squish it down to 26 inches in diameter. I figure it's about a 2 or 3 cubic yard hopper. The way I designed these bars up top is that this hopper will actually take my grizzly from my 4-foot trommel. So I'll be able to just rob it from the other guy, plunk it on top, and that'll be my grizzly. Let's go up top and I'll show you what it looks like. These little pieces that you see here, I just welded those up onto the plate so I can use them to lift up the plate into place. With our hopper all welded up, let's turn our attention to the front. What we need to do is make these goofy looking pieces, and that'll cap off the hopper in the front. To make this shape, we just put a piece of cardboard up, trace the edges out, trace the circle out, then we can transfer it to the piece of steel. Okay, got both sides tacked in. You just have to weld her up and we'll be done. So that concludes the hopper. Guy doesn't have to go crazy complicated with these things. This is just 3 pieces into the input of the barrel. So with this being done, let's head to the back and I'll show you what's next. The next thing that we're going to be building is the flume for the screen section. I had to buy a couple sheets of brand new steel. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. It'll be plenty thick enough for this. There's just nothing good at a scrapyard and I need something really straight for this. These are complicated to build. I can't go off of the angles on my piece of paper. If you take a look at it, we're fighting that angle. We're fighting that angle. We need to angle in. We have to do a lot of stuff to make it so it comes straight out the center. One other thing to consider about building these is trying to utilize the perfect amount of sheet metal as possible so you don't go through so many sheets. These things aren't cheap. There's the start of our flume for underneath the screen section. I gotta call it quits. It's actually starting to rain pretty hard right now. It's sort of crazy for January. But yeah, tomorrow morning we'll carry on and get at it. So it's tally time. Including yesterday and today was an additional 8 hours. That bumps us up to 40 hours. We're still at $1,500. I'm not gonna quite count that sheet metal in just yet. So we'll see you in the morning. Day 4, we're back on the lower catch basin to go below that screen section. We have the 2 lower pieces in place. Now we'll slowly start to add the sides and get everything put together. We have 4 more pieces cut up. Let's get these things tacked on. Okay, so this is where the chute is gonna drop out into the sluice box. That way or that way. All right, let's see if this thing fits. Yeah, I'm happy with that. With the one side done, let's head to the other side. Okay, we got the second one in. So the next piece that we have to do is these end caps, and same within the center. What we'll do is cut some of this cardboard up, make our template, and then the end cuts from the sheet metal, we'll cut it out of that. So here's our template all cut out. You see I want to go all the way to the top. There's an 1.5 inch gap around the barrel. I just simply traced the barrel and then added the 1.5 inch right there. Now we can transfer it to a sheet of steel. All right, we have the 2 end caps in. I will add a little bit of structure to this thing later on. It's a little bit flimsy. I want to make that thing a bit stronger. For this side, we'll have to create a new template. It's just a little bit off. Might as well start fresh. With the 2 pieces cut, let's get these guys tacked on. It's starting to get dark out. Okay, sweet, we've got that buttoned up. Decent little seal around there will keep any water or fines from puking out. Yeah, that's her. We got a basin going on. Still needs a lot of welding, but you know, that was a good chunk of progress we made today. All right, so it's the end of the day. Let's do a tally. We were at 40 hours. I put in another 7 hours today, so that puts us at 47 hours. And we'll count that sheet metal in this time, and that was $500. So we're at $2,000 in 47 hours. We'll see you in the morning. All right, good morning, everyone. It's day 5. It's our last day on episode 2. I'll show you what we need to do today. I know I've said this a couple times. With the back part all done, I want to move on to the hopper. We have one quick little job that we need to button up for the frame. First, we need to build the cross brace for the very back. Okay, that was easy. Now we need to cut out 8 braces to stop this frame from twisting. So with that done, we're going to move to the front. With all 8 braces done, I'll show you how I built these. I simply cut out a cardboard template of the shape and then just transferred it to the I-beam. You can see it has a lot of structure there. A good gusset right there, and then this 1/2 inch plate at a 45-degree angle. So with that done, we're gonna move to the front. What we have to do is put this pipe going across from there to there, and that'll prevent this frame from squishing in and out. We have our holes marked out where we want that pipe to go through. So let's blow those out. I'm a little bit short on the length of this pipe, so I need to weld this guy on and extend it out probably about 6 inches from the edge of the skid. The next thing up on the front is going to be this small little kick up. I don't want to make it just a blunt piece. I do all my trommels with that gentle slope. So what I did is just created a cardboard template to match to a shape. And we'll cut this off. We do not need that. With the curves all prepped up, we can head over to the I-beam and we're going to cut a chunk of this lip off. There's 2 more pieces that we need to do for the front. I cut this out of 1/4 inch plate. And what this will do is make this front skid extremely strong now. And the other pieces, this is cut out the 1/2 inch steel, and we're gonna cap these tubes off. Now what these pieces do is when I wrap the chain around, it'll prevent the chain from sliding off of this pipe. So with that one all done, let's head to the other side. Okay, we've got the second one tacked in. Still needs to be welded up, but I'll do that tomorrow. So that concludes the second episode of the Trommel Build. We still have one more episode. We'll finish that trommel off next go around. So let's do a tally. I put another 10 hours welding up the entire trommel and finishing up the front. So that puts us at 57 hours and we're still at $2,000. So I hope to catch you on the next episode of the Trommel Build. Whoa. We'll see you on the next one.